Welcome to the show. I'm so happy. What's up, everyone? This video is going to be a little bit different. It's October and the spooky season is upon us. So we're going to show you 3 different places that are rumored to be haunted and mystical. Katja decided to focus on editing and filming this video, so me and Baltzar will be showing you these places. Now let's get to it. Hi guys, now we're at Cathamra Gourd and it's rumored to be haunted, so let's go have a look. One of the stories surrounding this place is that a shadow-like entity is said to haunt this mansion. The story behind that is that in 1679, a maid who used to work here got accused of eating children and fornicating with Satan, therefore being a witch. And they sentenced her to death to burn at the stake at the main square in Visby. In Visby, when they brought her to the stake, she is said to go willingly and calmly. She didn't seem to fear death, so to make sure that she died, they tied a bag of gunpowder around her neck. And when the priest started their exhortations, you could hear her daughter shout out in the crowd, "Confess your crimes." And the maid is said to have cursed her daughter by giving her to the evil one and cursing her for all eternity, as they lit the fire around her feet. When she burnt, she didn't scream or beg for mercy, which was another proof for the people in those days that she was actually a witch, because they were said to be unable to feel pain. Another story we were told by the owners when we contacted them was that in the late 1800s, a woman actually drowned in the well on the property, which is also kind of spooky. We did some research, and during the late 1800s, the former owner actually used this place as a summer house, and he actually let his old mother and 2 sisters live in the mansion. We're not sure it was them, but it could easily have been one of them who drowned in the well. It's a really beautiful location we're filming at today, and on this property of this mansion a little bit further down is actually a house that really looks like a witch could be living in it. The locals call it the witch's hut because it's overgrown with ivy and it's gotten the shape of a witch's hat, which some say it's an indication that a witch used to live there. This mansion is very old, several centuries actually, so there's probably a lot of stories we don't even know about that surrounds this beautiful place. When walking around this place, you can't help but getting the sense that it might be a little bit magical, because you have all these fairy rings with mushrooms on the ground, which is said to contain magic. And you also have the witch's hut, which really looks magical because it's really beautiful. We even had an incident when we were coming up to this place right in the beginning. We were preparing a little stuff, and Balthasar just starts staring in through the gates and growling at something, but there was nothing there. We couldn't find anything, we couldn't see anything. It was a bit of a funny introduction to the place. I don't know if it's the surroundings or maybe it's the history of these walls of the building, but it's a really nice place, and if you would like to check it out yourselves, they actually turned it into a hostel now, so you can come here and visit or live in one of the buildings if you want. So we'll leave their homepage in the description below. So here we are at Trill Halsar, an ancient burial ground from Viking time, 600 to 800 years before Common Era, and it's rumored to be the originating place of a creature called Bysen. So here we are at the ancient burial ground called Trill Halsar. It's from 600 to 800 years before Common Era, and it's rumored to be the originating place of a creature called Bysen. Bysen is a fabled gnome-like creature that's supposed to haunt all the woods of Gotland. He is quite tiny, he always wears a hat, and he has an axe with him. He is said to have done a hideous crime in his past and got sentenced to walk the earth for eternity, right here at Trill Halsar. Bysen is rumored to cause mischief and flip timber wagons, and in general, he's the reason why all the bad things happen if you're out cutting woods or anything, because he is a warden of the forest and the nature of Gotland. If he were to see you, he will cast a spell on you so that you can't see him and you will get lost in the forest. The only way to break the spell is if you have a garment on you and turn it crooked or upside down. So let's go have a look at the burial site and hope that Bysen doesn't find us first. So here we are, and behind me you can see one of the graves. It's a big pile of boulders, and on top of it they used to have big spherical boulders that could be huge, about 1 meter in diameter, and preferably as round as possible. The historians aren't quite sure why they had that or what purpose it served, but they used to be on top of most of the graves here. In this area you can find about 350 graves that are visible, and they are sure that there's many more that we can't see anymore. When archaeologists dug up some of the graves to see what was in them, they found most of the people who were buried here were pretty wealthy. So there's a lot of clothes in there, a lot of different kinds of garments. They even found jewelry and some weapons in most of the graves. So maybe they found a lot of garments because you were supposed to turn one upside down if you saw Bysen here. So besides the graves, there are a bunch of different stone formations here. And one of them is this circular stone formation right here. And they're roughly translated from Swedish to be judgment circles. So the judges would sit on these stones in the outer circle, and they would decide the fate of the accused, who would be in the middle of the circle with the executioner. And either they would be pardoned, or maybe they would be found guilty and executed on the spot. It is said that this place is very mystical and has a lot of power. And at dusk you can run into, you don't really know what kind of creature you can run into here, because they roam the burial site at night. If you take a walk around on the burial site, you'll find many small offerings, like apples, berries, flowers, whatever people have on them. Even crystals, because many people still believe in this place. So here we have another stone formation. It's actually a ship grave, which you can see on the way they place the stones. So in the old days they actually used to bury their entire ships. in these graves. And in this particular grave, there's 2 big piles of stones, which indicates that it might be the crew that is buried with the ship. So as you can see, it's getting pretty late and dark. So let's head back to Beelzebus before all the spirits come out, or maybe Bysen sees us. So here we are with this beautiful windy, rainy weather today on Gotland at the Gallows Hill in Visby. Built during the 13th century, it's claimed to be one of the most well-preserved medieval execution sites in all of Scandinavia. Here is where they used to execute criminals by hanging them from the beams that used to be on top of these stone pillars, forming a triangle. It is believed that the gallows were in use up until 1845. In the old days, when this used to be an execution site, there was even a law saying that the bodies that were hung had to hang there until they rot and fall off. So you can imagine how many bodies there were lying here inside of this circle of stones. It is unclear how many executions that happened here on Gallows Hill, but archaeologists have found some 30 to 50 bone pieces from different people, and they suspect there's been a lot more executions here. During the 18th century was when the law was most strict. Then there were 70 crimes that could lead to death. Infanticide, stabbings, murder and incest were acts that could involve hanging or beheading. The gallows were situated so that everyone could clearly see the bodies hanging here, from Visby, the seaside and even from the main road from the north. Not all crimes resulted in death. There were lesser crimes resulting in getting a hand or a body part chopped off, then put on a pole on this outer wall as a warning to others. This used to be a pretty morbid place, but nowadays people actually come here to jog, eat lunch and barbecue. And nowadays it's not as scary as it used to be. One thing we forgot to mention is that some people that we know actually claim that they've seen both Bysen and some shadow-like figures on top of the Gallows Hill. It's rumored that you shouldn't be alone on Gallows Hill at the nights. So thank you guys for watching. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to help us out, please hit that like button and share the video. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel. Do you guys know any spooky stories? If so, please share them in the comments below. We really had fun making this video, because we love all kinds of scary stories.
Happy